So finally, we got what everybody wants to see. It's a game against Giri. And this is just to show you another way that you can get Stonewall structures that aren't, I think, too bad. So d4, once again e6. Early in his career, I don't think Giri was too much of an e4 player, so I decided to go e6, c4. Once against Giri, I went one e6 and then knight f6 to play a queen's gambit or Carlsen, which I thought was hilarious at the time, but I wouldn't recommend it in general. If you want to go knight f6, e6, you should do it in that move order, unless you love the French defense, which I'm sure a lot of people do. And in this game, I went bishop b4 check. And I should give a huge disclaimer here that what happened in the game is not forced. If you want to play this line with bishop b4, which I think is not a bad line at all, you should check your opponent's repertoire before the game. See if they usually play, well, in case they go knight f3, whether they go knight d2, bishop d2, well, or knight c3 for that matter, in this position. Because also, in this case, after knight d2, there's really no good way for black to avoid playing a more or less normal Pogo Indian. You can go f5, but I think it's not very impressive. White goes g3, and if you want to play the Stonewall, clearly knight d2 is more useful than bishop b4. Other tries like d5 are not too impressive, I think, or c5 for that matter. But that's something you can try and figure out. Anyway, Anish went bishop d2, which allows us to show one of the points, which is to take and then go f5. It looks a bit strange, seeing that this is a Stonewall series that we want to exchange the bishop so early on, seeing as that is not something we want to do in the Stonewall usually. But there are some points to this. He went g3, knight f6, bishop g2, castles, knight f3, and d6. And here again, I don't want to play the Stonewall immediately. I want to force his knight to c3 first. Queen e7. So I'm not really giving away my intentions quite yet. I could both go for e5 and for d5 at this point. And here I'm probably more intending to play e5, in fact. So white should go knight c3. Otherwise, for Stonewall purposes, you might feel like queen c2 and then knight d2 would be a better way to play. But here I think queen c2 can be very well met by e5. Knight doesn't do anything on d2. And otherwise, I think black will go e4 later on with a very decent game. So knight c3 happened and c6. Once again, I'm intending e5. And he went rook fe1. Quite reasonable. Another move you might suggest is queen c2 with the same idea. e4, but I probably would have done the same. Rook e1, and now I went d5. And I have indeed lost the tempo. I feel like I've not lost the tempo on queen e7, because that's usually where the queen should be. Rook e1 is quite a useless move, and also knight should not be on c3. So there are some points to what I'm doing. And what he did, e3, knight b d7. He went b3, b6, and somehow I'm getting very harmonious development here. Knight e2, bishop b7, and after knight f4 I could already go for another typical idea here, which is takes and then c5. And I think that black is doing quite well. And I think young Anish had blundered something here. Keep in mind this was actually a rapid game, so it's probably not something he would have done in a classical. e5, and now he went knight e6, which is not very good due to knight e4 takes and queen e6. Now he should probably have gone d5, but I think it's fairly clear. Queen goes somewhere, knight goes away. I can go e4. I think it's clear that black should not be too worried here. Knight e5 coming. If d6, I can go rook d8. I can go queen e6. Neither of them look too bad. But anyway, he went knight g5 instead. And after queen c4, he took, and here he just missed that I had queen d3. Sorry, he went rook ec1 because he had missed this from afar, queen d3, and obviously here, if he takes the queen, then there's a fork, so we went rook ec1 instead. But after queen d3, he still takes rook c7, h6, and rook f7. I was a fairly clean pawn up, and I managed to convert it. So this is another way to try and get Stonewall structures, but there are a few disclaimers. Once again, first of all, you should be willing to play more typical classical Dutch structures with e6, d6, and then e5, which I think are once you get e5, they're usually quite reasonable for black. And the other one is that if your opponent plays knight d2 against the Bogo Indian, then this setup simply doesn't work. And there's a lot of things that could be said about other ways to get the Stonewall especially from the Catalan. I would really recommend looking at Stonewall structures in the Catalan as well. If you're struggling to get playable position in the Catalan, if you think that it's very hard to create winning chances there against solid players, I would absolutely encourage to look for Stonewall structures there. And most of all, I would wholeheartedly recommend Stonewall as part of a repertoire or surprise weapon from time to time. It's generally just a very good weapon in terms of being able to get these complicated strategical positions from the opening. And I think there are many plans. There's always the question where to put the bishop on d7 or b6, bishop b7. You get chances to play for kingside attack, which a lot of people enjoy, and the pawn structure can can change in so many surprising ways. And it's one of those openings where usually the best player wins, and we all like to think that we're the best player whenever we sit down on the chessboard. So I think that should be suitable for most. So long for the Stonewall. I'm certainly gonna try it again. I hope I haven't given away all my secrets. I don't know if my colleagues are gonna watch this anyway, but I look forward to trying this opening again, and so should you.